Welcome to another episode of the Uncensored Philly Sports Podcast. You got Wayne and Tim in the building. This Sixers team, man, listen, I know y'all sit there and y'all watched Embiid with the clutch shot down the stretch. I see some of the comments in there. Yeah, it should be no Embiid slander, but well, I guess we're gonna talk about the good part first. Embiid should be MVP. Like it's no doubt about it. He's carrying this team. Nobody really can stop him. Even in games when he struggles a little bit, now he actually does make passes. He does other things in the game. Embiid is that dude. He's that bull right now. And so now that side of the way, Doc got to do something about the starting lineup. I'm sorry, you can't start Tobias and PJ Tucker in the starting lineup. One of them, I'd rather see Tobias go to the bench because he can score some, but PJ Tucker still brings zero to the game for me. Mm-hmm. I see nothing that PJ Tucker does in the game, and that's going to hurt us when we. And Tobias stunk this game too. But my thing is, I've seen where Tobias can give you 20 in a game, 20 plus in a game, some rebounds here and there. Like he's had decent games. I've seen nothing but PJ's maybe 2 games the whole season. So I'm tired of the PJ Tucker experience. You know what I'm saying? Bring him in spots, maybe sometime in the playoffs when you got depending on the matchups. But I don't. That does this team a disservice for him to be starting. And I will say this, though, about the Sixers. The Sixers have battled back from some big deficits lately. That gives me confidence going into the postseason, whereas, though, I feel like even though you're a little nervous, I feel like they can overcome any kind of deficit. You know what I'm saying? From anybody. They did it against, the Bucks. So I kind of feel good about that part of the team. What you got tonight, Tim?
All right. I keep hearing my name. My name being thrown out a lot in that chat. Like, Tim, what are you talking about now? Disrespecting my boy. Listen, Joel Embiid is the MVP. And I think I said that for the last month or so. He's been playing out his mind. I have no Embiid hate whatsoever right now. So if y'all want me to, y'all expecting me to hate, I'm not hating. Is he a different player than he was early on? Absolutely. He's healthy. But as far as this game, this was a field game to me. To me, this was more they had to feel. I think you froze away. This is a
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. To me, this for coaching from the coaching aspect, this was a field game. You got to know that your team didn't have it. This was their first game off of a 4-game. It was a 5-game trip, so they was usually the first time they back, they struggle a little bit. So you got to know which players have it, which ones don't. True. Clearly, Tobias didn't have it. PJ didn't have it, and all the players were struggling. Max looked like he was hesitant in his shooting tonight, which he wasn't.
Early on, yeah.
But you saw the Bulls who did have it. Daniel House should have played more minutes, in my opinion, because I thought that he had something going on. He had a spark to him. But I will say something about the refereeing. They didn't give us no love whatsoever. It seemed like any chance. There was so many late fouls in this game. I don't know if you recognize, like every time you think it's a defensive stop, the next you know it's a late whistle, and then they at the line or something. I mean, truth be told, Portland probably would have won the game if they actually hit more free throws. Granted, Joel did miss 5 free throws on the game, but down the stretch, Nurkic, he was missing a whole bunch of free throws.
Yeah.
But, overall, though, this looks like this team is a little special. This team looks, I didn't want to say little. They do look special. The fact that they keep coming back, keep winning games, improbable games. I mean, they got down. They had one game, 21 down. They mentioned, and another game we had that just last week. That game against Bucks. We didn't think we was gonna win that game. They was dominant.
It was down like what, 17?
Yeah.
And like to your point, it is games where it looks like the other team is dominating the whole game. Like they're in not dominating, but the other team is in full control. And then the Sixers, when that second half kicks in, it's like they kick, and that reminds me of the saying I never forget. I remember Clyde Drexler said it back when the Sixers was kind of garbage, and he came in and they said, "Well, you kicked in and won in the second half," and he said, "Listen, the first half is for show, the second half for the dough."
You see,
So you know what I'm saying, them teams that has a chance in the playoffs and contending type teams, even in the first half you playing, you know what I'm saying, you doing whatever. And it does kind of look like that with Embiid too. If you look at it, it does look like Embiid, like sometimes he come in, he looks lethargic, like he's not like really pushing it. And I
Yeah,
think that's about him pacing himself for the second half.
he didn't look like to me. He looked like he wasn't into it today. He still was scoring though, and again, it was a lot of nonsense call. I'm telling you, I don't usually hate on the referees too much, but every time Scott Foster's there, it seemed like Scott. Already know they say he really does hate James Harden and Chris Paul, but man, the struggle was real tonight, and like the whole crew was calling bogus calls. Like I'm done. But even still, Doc called the perfect timeout. I know we talked about this before the podcast. Um,
Hmm.
then B was about to mess that up. He was about to turn the ball over. Doc was like, he was running down the court like timeout, timeout. He
It was a
called
little bit like, what we about to do? Like he looked like he was trying to think of some stuff what he's about to do.
yeah,
Like, yeah, Doc, good time out.
that was a very good timeout. Good coaching by Doc. He called the next, and then I don't know if that was the exact play call, but B hit the perfect shot, that fadeaway shot. I mean,
And that's your guy. But that's your guy. That's your MVP candidate. I know we've had discussions on this pod plenty of times about talking about like you can't be a winning team when your big man is your guy to go to down the stretch. But I think that Embiid can be your guy down the stretch.
yep,
I think Embiid can carry a team down the stretch. And the fact that he's shown his propensity to be able to pass a little bit better, you know what I'm saying? Everybody got some kind of weakness. His passing is not his strength, but he can pass better. And when you have a James Harden on the team too that can help out with that,
yeah.
I mean I like this team going into the playoffs. I hope to see more continuity. I do want to see a tighter rotation, a better rotation. PJ Tucker still gets too many minutes to me. And I don't hate PJ. I respect him as an OG. You know what I'm saying, for what he do, what he's built his game up to be. You know, undersized, big man, and everything else, but he really doesn't bring much to the table for the Sixers.
Yeah. I mean, they had a 21 point, then they have like an over 20-point lead in this game. They had a 11-point lead with 6 minutes left in the game, and they just kept coming back. But as far as
Tobias was minus 22, PJ was minus 18. When they come out the game, we made a run and got it back in the game.
but it wasn't just the first time. It happened twice in the game.
Yeah,
First half, they went out, we cut the lead. Second half, they go out, we cut the lead again. It's
yeah.
like because you're not getting any offense. When you got teams that can shoot, like the boy I'm about to say Anthony Hardaway, Anthony Simon, he was on he was on a mission tonight. He ain't played in like 6-7 games,
Yeah, he came in fresh. I don't want to hear
but
that.
he was killing us. He was killing us,
Yeah,
man.
Jamar. Yeah, Embiid did look like bro. And listen, you know, Embiid, my guy, but he did look like he was about to do something. Like, he looked like he was about to try to do too much. And
He
and so
was,
that's why, like Tim said, that was an excellent timeout by Doc because it's like, okay, let's settle down.
yeah,
We gonna give you the rock. You gonna handle this. You know what I'm saying? But calm down. Let's get a good shot attempt out of it.
yeah, and he did. Paul replay. He was 2 for 6, 4 points. He's doing enough to be a good backup for Joel. Like
Yeah, I
right
mean,
now,
he only played 10 minutes. So I mean,
because Joel's amping up his minutes for the playoffs now. If you notice,
yeah.
he played 38 comparison where he's been playing 33, 34 all season. So you're gonna see Joel play like for the rest of the year until we get especially in the playoffs, he's gonna be averaging about 38 minutes a game. And so he's leaving only 10 minutes for um for Paul B-ball Paul.
But see, that's my thing though. And I guess I don't know. I'm not an NBA coach. You know what I'm saying? Doc Rivers, this is his career, and but you're telling me you can't play Embiid and Paul Reed at the same time?
He won't
Like
do it.
I don't see
Everybody gotta get hurt.
at
Everybody gotta
least
get
put
hurt.
it. Listen, at least put it in there for a couple minutes and see how they work out together. You know what I'm saying?
It's too much like thinking that when you don't think outside the box, that's what happens. These boys don't. Some of these older coaches won't like think outside the box. It's like they got to fit into the square hole. This is how it has to go, and he's like that. That's why I said I wanted a
Yeah.
younger coach. I wanted like a Chauncey Billups or somebody else. Like even Thybulle. What did Thybulle do? Thybulle
Oh,
defense
y'all was the
was
ones hyping Thybulle. Y'all was the one hyping
no, no.
Thybulle.
Look
Oh,
at
Thybulle gonna go over there now. Doc was holding Thybulle back. Thybulle gonna go over there and ball out.
Thybulle was very good as far as he was a plus 14, and for much of the game he was like a plus 22. When he was on the floor, his team was up and they was winning. He might not have had the great game offensively, but defensively he was affecting the outcome of that game. He was. Fortunately, we just got like Harden hit a key 3-pointer. It should have been a 4-point play, but he had a big
Yeah, I
shot.
agree.
He had a big shot down the stretch, and then you got Joel. He started making free throws, and then he hit that big fadeaway jumper. So, and then Maxey had a nice runner, like finger roll going down the middle of the lane. So I mean, the stars actually started playing towards the end.
Yeah, it might have been a little bit of what you said, you know what I'm saying, coming off of the road trip and this, that, and the other. But I agree about Maxey not being aggressive enough. Maxey shouldn't shoot 8 times a game.
That's what I'm talking about. If you saw
Maxey
it,
shouldn't have. But see, the funny thing is, remember, we get mad. Some of us get mad when Tobias shoots like only a few times a game. And Tobias needs to shoot more. Well, this is one of them games where Tobias should have shot less and Maxey should have shot more. So, but I think Maxey should always shoot more. I know sometimes people perceive it as hate when I say the things I say about Maxey. I say the things that I say about Maxey because I expect more of Maxey. I expect Maxey. I do think Maxey can be a borderline star in this league, if not a full-blown star. I think that he has the talent and the skill set to be that, but I think that is something about his mentality. Not saying he's soft, but he's not aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Like that dog in him. He don't have that. And I think if he ever was to get that, he needs somebody to make him mad or something. I think if he ever was to get that, his game would go next level.
yeah, because Tobias shot 27% from the floor tonight. So there you have it.
Yeah. Oh no, he definitely was off tonight.
He was on minus 22. I know you.
I mean, is there any chance that he's still a little hurt? I don't know. What was his injury?
He hurt my feelings. And then and he only had 3 rebounds. That's the crazy thing. He played 25 minutes and had 3 rebounds. Chucker had 3 rebounds. Oh no, I'm sorry. They both had 5 rebounds apiece. 5. That's your starting forwards had 5 rebounds. And Joel didn't rebound well. He's haven't been rebounding well lately either. He only had 7.
But see, to me, I think a lot of the stuff about Joel rebounds is because he's the one with the ball. He's drawing the attention. So, like, all right, just think if you're playing basketball, right? And say we down there and we're playing, there's some guy that like we know this is the guy. Me, you know what I'm saying? You already know if I get it down there, at certain times that it was pretty much a basket. So if you draw attention down there, then when the shot goes up, you're not just going to leave him to go box somebody else out. When Joel Embiid has the ball, you're going to box Joel Embiid out. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying, to me, I think that actually adds to Harden rebounds that he gets. He gets a lot of floorboards because these guys are worried about keeping Embiid off the board. But that's why I think that Tucker's too short. I think if you had Paul Reed in there with Joel Embiid, Paul Reed would average a good 8 rebounds a game easy.
I think Daniel House is trying to say, "Let me in." Because
I agree.
Did you see that dunk that he had too during the game? That joint was nice.
Yeah,
he got up for. I didn't even know he had hops like that.
I like House and McDaniels. I like that tandem together.
The rest of them, they didn't let him play at all today. This is the second straight game where he picked up like 3 quick fouls, and both games they were a lot on the bogus fouls too.
Yeah,
they was bogus. I'm like, are you serious? So I mean, I don't know if he got a reputation around the league, because referees, they hold grudges like females.
Right. Hey, Kane, the Sixers forwards, I do think, and listen, and I know it's going to come off of people sitting there saying that I'm caping for Tobias and everything else. I'm not, but I've seen in playoff series where Tobias has averaged like 19 points and been able to put points up in the playoffs. I haven't seen PJ do anything. Now, that being said, to me, if Tobias is not being aggressive and not hitting them, whatever else, then benching. Put somebody else in there. I have no problem with doing that. But I don't think that Tobias is outright garbage that you can't use him. He's definitely not worth the money, but he's not outright garbage. If you're talking about him being your fourth best player averaging 14 points a game, 14 or 15 points a game when you have two guys that's averaging in 20 plus, and then you have one guy that's averaging 30 plus. I mean, that's 70 points a game from your big three. Then you talking about with Tobias, now you're talking about 80 something points a game, 80 plus 85 points a game from your top 4 players. I'm good with that.
Doc Rivers said PJ Tucker went up to Tyrese in the locker room and said, "The cat's out the bag in regards to your defense."
What, that he don't play it?
Yeah, that's a shame.
He said that to who?
Tyrese Maxey.
Oh, but no, hey, Maxey had a decent that play he made. He made a big play when he almost got the steal and then knocked it off of I think Simon's hands, and we got the turnover.
Yeah.
So I mean,
that was
at least see the effort. That was a big play. And listen, Tobias is not great, but Tobias is not hot garbage. You don't average
Tobias
14
is hot garbage.
He's not. 14 points and six
Tobias
rebounds.
is hot garbage. You got to stop defending him.
It's not about defending him. He's not worth the money that he's getting. I agree.
He's not worth the money.
But a player averaging 14 points a game. He's averaging 14 points a game. That's not trash. That's not trash in the NBA.
He's bad.
He's a role player. He's a role player. 14 points a game is not trash in the NBA.
This is what you do. You know how Andy Reid, when he had the ball, Alex Smith as his quarterback, he was a good quarterback. But
no, he wasn't.
But he had Patrick Mahomes on the bench. He still was a playoff caliber quarterback. But he had Patrick Mahomes. Everybody said, "Why you start?"
So who's our Patrick Mahomes on the bench? Who's the Patrick Mahomes in the bench that's going to take over Tobias' spot? Because I'm down with it. Who is better than? Who are you going to put in that starting spot that's going to be better than Tobias?
Oh, we got 3 players on there. You can go with Daniel House. You can go with Jalen McDaniels.
What has Daniel House done in his career?
It doesn't matter. I know
it does matter because you're talking about what you're seeing right now, and Tobias is not playing up to what you want him to play. Daniel House is not a better player than Tobias. Has Daniel House ever even been considered for All-Star game?
First round, Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is going to have a nice series first round, and then as the games go in the second round, he gets worse and worse and worse.
So what has Daniel House done in the
Harris?
Okay,
so,
and
I wouldn't know. The thing is, I wouldn't know because we just got Daniel House. Let me find something different. You can't. Your sound is gone.
Done it at all in the playoffs, and you're caping up for them over Tobias Harris, who has given you some stuff in the playoffs. That's the point. It's the whole backup quarterback thing. Oh, our quarterback stink. The backup is better than him.
Give me the backup.
Exactly.
We can win a Super Bowl with a backup, but we can't win. But we're not going to win with Tobias Harris.
All right, well, who's Jalen Hurts backup?
Exactly. We're not going to win with a backup, but him.
Who's Jalen Hurts backup? Let's take it back up. Exactly. No, I'm not saying that the kid Toby stunk tonight, and he stinks a lot of nights. But he also but he's also had games where he's had 20 plus points. You telling me I've never seen Jalen? Has McDaniel ever scored 20 plus points regularly?
Put Jalen.
Daniel House has been in, now. Jalen McDaniel's kind of young. You argue
he's 25 years old. He's averaged.
Daniel House has been in the league for a long time. Where has he ever been? This guy where you telling me
Daniel's been in the league is averaging 10 points a game with playing with garbage. Now let him put him in the starting lineup. You got a 6'9" and a 7'2".
What did he do when he started the other night? How much did he score?
He scored 20 points against the Pacers. You talking about that?
Huh? The 20 points against the Pacers?
Yeah.
That's when he scored 20. All right. Hey, listen, I'm fine starting then. I already said from coming in, I'm fine with Tobias coming off the bench because I think Tobias can still get his own basket. I don't think Jalen can get his own baskets.
Yeah, you must have been watching Jalen. That's the one thing.
I don't think he could get his own baskets.
Jalen can score around. He can score around a basket. Tobias Harris does same thing, and I think he did the same thing tonight. He gets down there and then he turns the ball over, or he gets the shot 8, or don't even hit rim. I mean,
listen, Phil W. Toby. This year his rebounding is down, but Tobias has averaged 19-9 or 19-7, 17-9, something like that with the Sixers before. So That being said, I'm not saying if you have a better option, I'm fine with Tobias coming off the bench. I'm fine with Tobias coming off the bench. Tobias stuck in the playoff. What did he do against Washington last year?
Miz, he said Tobias had 5 points versus the Celtics and the Hawks multiple times. I'm like, everybody's seen this. Everybody's seen this.
I'm not saying he's the fourth best player. He's the fourth best player on the team. And he's
before you like he's the second best player, and then the third best player, and then the fourth best player. He keep moving down the chart. I'm telling you, Tobias is trash.
When this year has I said he's more than the fourth best player? I've never this year. I've never said he was the fourth best player this year. When have I ever said that? Anything other than
Charlie M. So you don't think I'm gonna be a good coach? I said right now that Embiid is the MVP of the league, which he is. I said that Maxey is top tier player, which he is. What I'm saying simply is Tobias, put him on the bench, let him play with the second team where he can score the points and shoot as often as he needs to, and let McDaniels get those fast open breaks with him and Maxey can fly up and down the court.
What makes you think he's gonna get all these? So you think McDaniels is gonna get all these shot attempts if he's in that starting lineup with Embiid, Harden, Maxey?
What I'm talking about, there's shots that he can find a way to score. That's the one thing about Jalen McDaniels. He finds ways to score. You don't got to run plays for him. He's going to be
overhyping the ball right now. And I like Jalen McDaniels, but you this is what you do. It's a new guy. You probably never watched him play before. Now all of a sudden he on the Sixers. Jalen McDaniels is next up. He the truth. Like bro.
He's 25. Okay. He's 25.
Okay. Guess what? You know what else is going on? You know who else is doing something like that? This is what Portland is doing with Thybulle. You see how we talking about Thybulle right now? This is how Portland is with Thybulle. Thybulle, did you see him hit all them threes? Thybulle, the Sixers crazy. They gave Thybulle up to us. This is what McDaniels.
We got McDaniels for Thybulle. We got McDaniels for Thybulle.
Okay.
So
but it's a similar situation. Now, McDaniels is better because McDaniels can shoot better, in my opinion. But that being said, it's the same thing Portland is doing now because they see Thybulle in small doses over the short period of time, and they talk about how great Thybulle is.
But I think Thybulle is playing well with Portland. He doesn't have a lot of pressure to win. What you think about what he said about Doc? He said he has more freedom to be him, and he's not worried about being yanked or anything, or you shouldn't only take these certain shots. Like, I guess he felt
like another Australian that we had on his team that said that he came in on a team that was a contender and there was too much pressure. He would have rather go to his team that stunk so he could learn his game.
Yeah, that does sound like
corny.
Somebody early.
That's corny.
Well, I mean, but Doc. Well, what I will say is Doc do. Yeah, if you mess up, they yank you. Like Paul Reed did the same. Paul Reed experienced the same thing. One mistake, you back on the bench. You might not see him for 2 or 3 games. I mean, I think there's some truth to his statement, but at the same time, I do believe Thybulle had enough chances in Philadelphia to actually solidify itself as a backup, or at worst a backup. But he could have been a starter. Remember, we started him like 15, 20 games last year.
Yeah. See, listen. Tobias averages 15 points, or 14.9, 15 points, 5.9 rebounds, 6 rebounds, and 2.6 assists. That's not hot garbage. That's not great. That's not all-star. That's not all-pro. That's not top-notch, this, that, and other. But for your fourth player coming off the bench, that's not hot garbage.
Listen, it's garbage because you can get more. You're not getting your bang for your buck at all.
This is my problem. This is where everybody get caught up to the money. I don't care about the money at this point. At this point, I don't care about. Right now, I care about. So for the buck, I can see if you're saying for the buck, for what you're paying, McDaniels a better player. But as a player for player, McDaniels is not better than Tobias Harris.
You basing that off of what? Because you looking at just the points, or are you looking at the eye test? Because there's an eye test.
I am looking at the eye test. I've actually seen Tobias Harris play defense this year.
Look at Tobias Harris. Look what he's done for you for the last 4 years. You got 4 years of seeing Tobias Harris not show up. And tonight, for example, he did not show up.
Okay.
And then you got then you see
What Jalen McDaniel do tonight? Get in foul trouble?
Yeah, that wasn't his fault.
Why? So it's not a dude's fault if he get in foul trouble.
It's not his fault. And he was still a plus.
And David Young, I agree. I do not like Tobias Harris at the power forward position. I think he should be at the small forward position. And yes, Herb, tell him those are John Collins numbers. But remember we had this argument, and this is my whole point. We get caught up with these dudes, the grass is greener type thing. Tobias Harris is not a great player, but he's our fourth best player on his team. And the numbers that he's putting up is decent for a fourth best player when you have Maxey, Harden, and Embiid as your other three. It's your big three.
So Jalen McDaniels played 10 minutes and Tobias played 25 minutes.
Okay.
Jalen McDaniels had 3 rebounds. Tobias had 5 rebounds.
Tobias had a bad night tonight.
Tobias
Absolutely.
had 8 points, and Jalen McDaniels had 4 points. He basically would have did the exact same thing Tobias did, plus more, had he played the same amount of minutes. He played 15.
And guess what? And the thing that you're saying is Tobias stunk it up, but you're saying McDaniels played great. No, but they basically played the same. See, that's the perception that you have. Where you're ready to rip
better numbers had he played 25 minutes. He only played 10 minutes.
How do you know? He might have fouled out if he played 25 minutes.
No, if he played 25 minutes, he probably would have scored like 20 points. Easy.
Yeah, all right.
Listen, I can't defend Tobias. Like, I had to come off. I was everybody know I was a little hard on Joel Embiid early on because he was doing a lot of stupid stuff like turning the ball over and everything, injuries and everything.
He had 4 turnovers tonight.
Yeah, but today, and he mopes and cry all the time. But tonight and for the last month, he just escalated himself. Or I don't even want to use the word escalated, but he just catapulted himself into the MVP lead. In my opinion, everybody still keeps saying is the Joker, but it's Embiid. Embiid is the MVP.
I mean, I understand people making an argument for Joker, but my whole thing about Embiid is he plays both sides of the ball.
What argument for the Joker can you make right now? I mean, wait, what's the argument? Because you can't make no argument.
He averaging the triple-double. So he passes the ball, he gets his teammates involved, he gets rebounds, and he scores. There is an argument for him, but my argument for Joel Embiid is that Joel Embiid is dominant offensively, scoring, and that Joel Embiid also is a dominant defensive player. Yeah, so to me, Joel Embiid's the more complete player. But don't dismiss Joker like Joker's not a baller.
But he's not in the top 10 in scoring.
Okay, so what? To me, Joker's better. Joker has a better complete offensive game than Embiid. He has a better handle. He has a better handle, and he has better passing. Joel Embiid is a better scorer by far. I ain't even want to say by far because it's not even like a big. Joel Embiid is a more dominant and a better scorer, but Joker has a better handle. Joker has better assists, and Joker is averaging more rebounds. So I understand the argument for Joker. However, Joel Embiid is a dominant, unstoppable force offensively, and he's a defensive presence that to me I don't even think he gets the props he deserves as a defensive player.
He don't. Well, I still think Joker is a little overhyped to me. I'm sorry. I think he's overhyped. I'd rather if I'm betting right now, I'm gonna pick Joel Embiid every time.
I'm sure, I would too. Joel's my pick too, but I understand people making the argument for Joker because offensively, we can say stat padding and everything else all you want, but I've watched him and I've watched some of the passes that dude make, and I see some of the plays that dude make, and he's the real deal.
I mean, they just running little plays. They be practicing inside in the gym.
Ain't that basketball? That's what you're. Then maybe B need to run more plays like that. Then. Put it this way. Put it this way. You just said how nervous you was when Embiid was coming down there with the ball in his hands. That was a good timeout by Doc. Well, yeah, because you was afraid of what Embiid might have did with the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
My thing is Joker handles the rock better, but I think Embiid is better because Embiid is a more dominant all-around player. That's why I'm saying I'm taking Embiid over Joker. But don't disrespect Joker like that. Like he trash.
You said I sound like he said I sound like Perkins down on ESPN. I'm not saying I am saying that he a little hype. I'm not even gonna say he's a little hype. I just think I just believe that Joker is not as good as Embiid this year. This year,
Oh
and
no, I agree with that. I agree with that. And a a Craft. Listen, you what Joker does shoot some fadeaways. Joker actually is pretty solid. Like
he having the
you
more.
talking about Embiid crossover? Yes, Embiid has a crossover. Embiid also probably turns the ball over more than Joker does too. And Joker handles the ball better than Embiid. So when you talk about assisted turnovers, Joker's way ahead of Embiid on that. But to me, the deciding factor is Embiid is way more dominant on defense. Joker can't sniff the defense that Embiid plays. So I'm saying that to say, don't disrespect what Joker does. Joker is just not a complete player like Embiid is.
So 3 Sixers to me had really good weeks. I think Max had a good week, and B had a good week, and Hardy had a good week. Who's your Sixer player of the week this week?
Oh, Embiid.
Yeah, he gotta get it. He gotta get it.
I don't think
he
it's
gotta
any
get
doubt.
it. He gotta get it. Even though Maxi, I like the fact that he's able to come back and get his confidence back. But what Joel did on Monday versus the Pacers, and then again on Tuesday against the what do we play again? Oh, Minnesota, and then tonight. I mean, 3 dominant performances. He went up against 3 like legit 7-footers all week.
So let me run this out there to y'all, right? Real quick. Everybody talking about Toby in the playoffs. In the playoffs in 2021, Toby averaged 21.8 for the playoffs. Not just in round 1, but round 1 and 2, he averaged 21.8.
What was his
Last year?
Wait, run out the games in 2021.
Why are you running out the games for? We talking about you talking about what he
What did
averaged.
he score in those games?
He played 12 games and averaged 21.8 points.
All right, break down the games. Game 1.
For
2,
what?
3. Because
are you breaking down the games with everybody else? You could do that with it. Guess what? Steph Curry only scored 7 points in one game against Boston, but he averaged like 30 something.
Because
it don't
Toby
matter.
got a lot of duds in there. Duds.
Okay. But averages are averages for a reason. So if he had all these duds, guess what? If he averaged 21.8 points a game and he had duds, then that means he had some games where he balled out because it averages out. You can't have all these duds and still average 21.8.
You can.
No, it balances out. So if you average 21.8 and you scored only 8 points one game, then that meant you scored 30 the other game to balance it out.
I'm trying to find his playoffs because
it's averages, bro. Do you not understand how averages work?
I know how averages work.
I know y'all understand how averages work, right?
There's games.
Now that being said, last year he only averaged 16.9 for the playoffs, for the complete playoffs. But for his career, he averages 17.5 for a per game in the playoffs. That's not hot garbage, averaging 17 points game in the playoffs.
All right, give me 1 minute.
Wait, now listen, am I tripping? Am I tripping, y'all? Because I agree. I think Tobias is severely overpaid. I agree. But if you're talking about him being garbage, 17 points a game in the playoffs is not garbage. I think, didn't Reggie Miller average like 19 points a game, something like that for his career? Ain't that what he averaged per game for his career? And we talking about how great he is, even though it's a different era of basketball. But I'm just saying 17 points a game is not great, but 17 points a game is solid in the playoffs. So, and that's the only, and stuff like that is the reason why I argue about Tobias. I don't think Tobias is great. I don't think he's our big three. I think he's our fourth best player. If you tell me your fourth best player has a chance to pull 17 points a game in the playoffs, and he's done it before, I'm fine with that. I'm fine. Even if he doesn't get those points a game, my thing is he's shown a propensity that he has gained. We've seen big games from Tobias. So my fourth best player, I just need somebody for my fourth best player, be somebody that could, if need at certain times, you can put those kind of numbers up. That's all. Thank you, Herb. I know. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes.
My bad. Open the door.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Sometimes, and sometimes, and Pumans, I'm fine. You're right. he's the fourth option now, and that's why I'm saying. And so as the third option, he was averaging 21. As the fourth option, he averaged 16 last year, 16.9. So I'm fine with that.
Why you gotta let it? You just gotta let it go. You know how certain things you gotta let go. You gotta let go Tobias. You won't let him go. Let him go.
I'm fine with letting him go. Upgrade it. But my whole point is, and I'll say this time and time again, I had the same argument with Ben. My thing with Ben Simmons, some people said Ben Simmons, when he was with the Sixers, he wasn't hot garbage. Some people said he was hot garbage. He can't do it. You're not hot garbage if you're averaging like 15 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists, or seven rebounds and 9 assists. That's not garbage. That's not garbage.
Tobias has a ceiling that he's reached.
I agree. I agree.
I believe this team can win an NBA championship this year. I do. But I don't see Tobias as being a key factor in us helping us win that championship.
What's the key factor? What do you call a key factor?
Somebody that's gonna help change the game that we're gonna need to win us a game. Tobias, what game has Tobias won for the 76ers?
Tobias is one. And well, you talking about playoffs or just in general?
And the players like what has like okay, Tobias won this game for us.
All right, let me ask you this: you always hyping Bobby Portis. What game has Bobby Portis won for? What game did Bobby Portis win for the Bucks?
Tyrese Maxey on record has games that he won in a playoff. They're like, oh, that's the Maxey game. That's what it was called in Miami. They call him Miami Maxey. Miami.
No. That was regular season. Miami Maxey was regular season.
Yeah. Then you got Joel has done it. Harden can do it. We know.
No, Maxey did drop 30. Maxey had a solid playoff against.
That's the point that I'm making.
Okay, and he's our third best player. I agree.
Then you have Tobias. I don't see him winning a game for us or taking over or doing that clutch. I just don't see it.
You haven't ever seen Tobias hit clutch baskets?
Tobias in the regular season, I think he hit like a few weeks ago. He hit like a couple of 3-pointers in the game to help us win. I'll give him that much.
He's the fourth best. Okay, so then what plays have you seen Jalen McDaniels do?
Give me the opportunity. I'm willing to take a chance.
You tripping?
I'm willing to take
you straight tripping. You straight tripping. Listen, bro, and this is why I say the stuff I say. Sometimes, especially when we get to this point in the season, my theory, my philosophy is once we get to this point in the season and everything else, this is what the team is. So instead of worrying about, and like with Ben Simmons, people was worried that he was a number 1 overall pick and this, that, and the other. People worried that Tobias Harris gets the most money on the Sixers team. There's no way he deserves that. And I agree. That being said, he can provide something for this team. And he does provide something for this team.
So Miz, he said, I take White and Brogdon over Toby all day. I agree with that.
Okay, so are they making that trade? Is that a possibility that you can make that trade?
Not right now. The trading deadline is gone.
Okay, this is my point. If there was an opportunity to do that, then I would have done. There's not an opportunity.
So, but you do feel so. You agree with me.
I've been said I'm down to upgrading. I'm down to upgrading.
You agreed to put Tobias on the bench and have McDaniel start.
I'm fine with that. See? But I think more than anything, the problem in the starting lineup is PJ Tucker. I think more than Tobias Harris being a problem, I think PJ Tucker is a problem in the starting lineup.
But the thing is, you can't take PJ Tucker out the starting lineup because he has no value coming off the bench. Tobias has a little bit of value because he can create his own shot.
Oh, what? So now Tobias has value? You just told me Tobias was hot garbage. Now you tell me he got value.
Yeah, as a starter, he's hot garbage. But as a bench player, right now, he'd be all right as a bench player. That's all I'm saying.
So no mind. I'm glad that there's a lot of people here that understand where I'm coming from with this. And again, I'm not bigging up Tobias Harris the same way with Reed. I'm not saying Reed is a superstar, all-star, everything else, but I do see that there's value in giving these guys minutes. And that's like all these other teams. All these other teams, they don't got a team full of superstars. There's a lot of teams out there. If you telling them that Tobias Harris could be their fourth best player, they're going to take it. Who's the fourth best player on Phoenix right now?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Not sure. Yeah. I'm sure they're better than Tobias.
How? Who's the fourth best player?
I don't know. I know you would. I don't know at the Booker and Chris Paul and KD, who you got left?
So you think they wouldn't want? You think they wouldn't want Tobias Harris over there as their fourth best player?
No. Nobody wants Tobias Harris. Doc traded Tobias Harris. You know he didn't want him.
Oh my God. No, they traded Tobias because they didn't want to pay him that big contract that the Sixers ended up having to pay him.
Yeah, they wanted $80 million. The Sixers decided to give him $100 more on top of that $80 million, which was dumb.
Hey, I will never dispute and say that Tobias Harris isn't overplayed.
Because he is.
Oh, he absolutely is. No, Charlie M. I wasn't acting like Reed was an all-star. My whole problem is if the guy in front of him is doing absolutely nothing. I've seen Paul Reed be MVP of the G League. I've seen Paul Reed get rebounds. I've seen Paul Reed hustle play defense. I've seen him do these things even in spurts when he came in. My whole big thing was when Paul Reed was first here, remember Mike Scott? Mike Scott was the reason why Paul Reed wasn't getting no burn. And that was horrible to me. Then you telling me in the playoffs, was it last year when we had DeAndre Jordan? You telling me Paul Reed wasn't better than DeAndre Jordan?
Oh yeah,
that's when you hear me keeping up for him.
Ayton is the fourth best player. You trying to say that that Tobias is better than Ayton?
No, he's not better than Ayton.
Exactly. So there you go.
What's Ayton averaging? What's Ayton averaging?
Doesn't matter. You know he's it's all about the impact. That's the
Ayton. I'm not going to say that.
Tobias Harris is not an impact player.
Yeah, but most teams, as their fourth player, don't have a fourth player is not an impact. Who's Boston's fourth best player?
Oh, they loaded.
So who's their fourth best player though? And tell me their stats.
Is it Williams?
So is Williams averaging more than Tobias?
I'm still taking wins. I don't care.
Their fourth best player might be Horford. I don't know. Is it Horford? Who is it?
And then what's the Marcus Smart? It could be Marcus Smart.
Marcus Smart, their third best, ain't he?
But you got to take out Tatum and
you got Tatum and Brown 1 and 2. Marcus Smart number 3. Who's 4?
I don't know. You got their center Williams. I'll take
Keith 8. I was just asking, trolling. I know good and well that Ayton is Ayton better than Toby. I'm not putting Ayton up.
Toby up there. He's averaging 18, 10, and 1.
Yeah.
Al Horford and then the Bull White that they got.
18, 10, and 1. Is that great?
18, 10, and 1.
Because you just told me when Tobias was averaging like 19 and 9 that it wasn't all that good.
I didn't say that, first of all. And he clearly not averaging 19 and 9 right now.
Now he's not, but you was calling him garbage back then when he was. Or 19-8. My fault, it was 19-8.
Because
you muted yourself, Tim.
The impact is the points. Is when you score on points, the timeliness of those points. It's all those are.
You saying impact? Somebody just told you Tobias came up with a big rebound against the Bucks. And a putback. Tobias has hit. So you telling me some of these games? Ho. You telling me some of these games we even watched? Tobias ain't came up with big threes in money situations? Are you telling me that Tobias hasn't come up with big threes? And your mic is on now. You can answer. Oh, your sound is off. But that's all I'm saying is, and I don't think that Tobias is great, but I think that Maxey is outstanding. I think Maxey can be a star in this league. I think Harden is a star. I think Embiid is a superstar. So my thing is, and Puman, I'm fine. He said, and Puman says your fourth best player. Appreciate the super chat too, bro. He says your fourth best player can be your sixth man, and I agree. And I'm fine with Tobias coming off the bench. And when if he comes off the bench, I want him to be aggressive and going to try to score and shoot. So I'm fine with Tobias coming off the bench, but I just feel like our biggest hole on the starting lineup is PJ Tucker. So I think that's what needs to be replaced on the starting lineup.
Yeah, my sound is my volume is jacked up. I don't know what's going on right now.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you, but every time I talk, the volume keeps going down. Somebody must be mad that I'm assassinating Tobias.
Well, I'm about to say we hear you fine. Like you coming through clear. So, I mean, that being said, listen, good win for the Sixers tonight, man. Like I said, I understand the frustration with Tobias Harris. It's no way he should be the highest paid person on this team, and you're only the fourth best player. Tim kicked himself out. I guess he's trying to reset his stuff, but I understand the frustration with him. And this is what I just say sometimes. We have our preferences with players. We have players that irk our nerves that we don't like and this, that, and other. But at this point, sometimes we just got to look and see, like, dudes do have some value. All right, SB, you saying is both of them, but what do you see that PJ Tucker does in the game? I've seen where Tobias Harris has put up like 18 points in the half, but then he don't really do nothing in the second half. So that's all I'm saying is I've seen where Tobias Harris has done certain things and this, that, and the other. For real, PJ Tucker, the one game I seen PJ Tucker ball out was against Joker. I think it was against Joker, and then there was one other game when he had like 16 rebounds. But you don't see that all like that. So Jamar said, only Sixers fans. Let me see what you say. Only Sixers fans start slobbing a player that actually hated when they played for the Sixers. They do. They do. Listen, you know how many times I done heard both like, oh, see, Thybulle looking like the real deal now. Like, Sixers, I'm going to say Philly fans, and I'm a Philly fan, and I love our fan base. I think our fan base is outstanding, passionate, great, knowledgeable, but we get emotional. We get emotional. Like we'll sit there and get mad at a guy. Like we'll look at somebody else that's one, and I'll give case a point. I'll say John Collins for Atlanta. We sit up there and we saw he got a couple dunks on the Sixers in the playoffs, and John Collins is better than Tobias. Tobias, he's a much greater upside. Trade for him, he's a much better player. This and other. Their stats are similar. So where's he's a much better player? Tobias Harris could actually create his own shot. I mean, he shoots better from three. Now, Collins, slightly better rebounder and everything else, but where is he that much better of a player? That's my only point on that type stuff. So, yeah, Gold Ray, we did what? Hey, listen, we did, and this we did walk. What's Gold Ray said? We walked them down tonight, right? This Sixers team is kind of getting to be like Jason Voorhees. You know how in those movies, like in Friday the 13th, Halloween, all that. You know how it's like you get the dude that's walking around like he don't chase him, he ain't running real hard after him or nothing. He just walking them down, stalking them, and he catch up to him eventually. That's how the Sixers have been playing lately this season. For real. Teams get this big lead, all of a sudden the Sixers just be playing, and it's like the lead start going down. Then another team go up. Then it's like, dang, the Sixers losing it. Then Sixers just hang around. Then next thing you know, it's a 5-point game. I'm like, oh, well, hold on. Then it's a block or still. Then we down there now. Like, oh, it's a 2-point game now. Next thing you know, then we right down there. We right there about to get the lead. The Sixers keep tight. You feel like the Sixers really do have a chance to win in every game against anybody. And that's all you really can ask for real. Are you straight now, Timothy?
Yeah, I'm good. So, for Sunday we got another game. We who do we play again? Who's next up?
Who is it? Don't we play Indiana again soon? Who we play next up? I'll tell you in a second. Wizards Sunday.
Okay, that should be it. I ain't gonna say we kind of struggle against the Wizards a lot for some reason. They got our number.
We got the Wizards Sunday, and then Wednesday, we go to the Cavs. Friday Hornets. Hey, we got the Pacers on the back-to-back Hornets Pacers. But I mean, hey, listen, we coming down the stretch run of the season, man. I'm good with where the Sixers are. I think they still can get better. I think we still got to figure out certain things. I would like to tweak that starting lineup. I don't like Tobias, and I just don't like PJ Tucker as my starter. I really don't. I feel like PJ Tucker is built to be that player to come off the bench, and you could kind of get a feel for the game. Like, say if somebody on the other team is starting to go off or something, then you could like sick PJ on him and let him come in and play a little hot 15 minutes. PJ shouldn't be getting 20 minutes a game, 25 minutes a game.
And he's older now, so he just don't. he's not even as good as he once was a couple years ago with the Bucks. So I do agree with that.
Hey, Clarence Carter, PJ, did you see PJ against Giannis? PJ was getting abused by Giannis. The one player that I seen PJ, and PJ is older, so I do understand that and I respect that. But the only one player I really seen where PJ was strapping like that for a long period of time was Joker. Joker, is this your king? He getting strapped by PJ Tucker. That's what they need to send. Well, all these dudes want to sit there and talk about Joker, this, that, and other. Show when PJ Tucker strapped him, or when Draymond strapped him.
I can't even hate on Joker tonight. He had 37, 11, and 11.
That's what I'm saying, Joker.
But they lost. They lost to the Spurs. The Spurs is trash. Spurs 17-49.
But he did his part. You know what I mean? I like I said, I don't mind PJ. I'm not saying that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying just throw PJ on the bench and don't use him at all. I do think that he can be useful in spots. I just don't think 20 minutes a game is it for PJ. PJ should be the 13 to 15 minute a game guy. And he shouldn't be starting. He should come in spots when you need him. When spots are, because I do think there's certain spots in games where it's like, okay, this is a PJ moment. Put PJ in there to do this, that, and other, and it'll work.
I agree. But I tell you this much. The person we need to stick Anfernee Hardaway, I keep saying Anfernee Simons tonight was we could have used a Ben Simmons or we could have used a Matisse Thybulle.
Nah, stop with the Ben Simmons talk. Ben Simmons is done.
Thybulle, don't now you can't say what you
Ben
want.
Simmons is done now. He's Ben is not here no more.
I'm saying current Ben.
Ben is not here no more.
I'm just saying current Ben does a good job on these guards, especially these tall guards. He was very good at defending those type of players. He was, and tonight
he was very good at defending people like Luka, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but that's old Ben. Don't tell me about what he is now. He's not. He's not going to do that now. So,
good pie, y'all. Once again, MOTC. I know you was happy.
I'd have been great. Listen, if we'd had old Ben, I'd have loved to have old Ben as my power forward in this lineup. Oh, I'd have put old Ben. You put old Ben in the dunker spot that PJ be in right now. He best right get a whole bunch of layups and dunks as long as what's the name ain't jumping at him in the playoffs.
I'd rather see. Stop! Don't do
that. as long as Trae Young ain't trying to block his shot in the playoffs,
would you rather have old Ben or PJ Tucker?
Oh, I'd rather have old Ben in the dunker spot than PJ Tucker.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
And I think old Ben will be catching mad oops from Harden. Can anybody on the Sixers even throw oops other than Harden? I think Shake can a little bit, because remember Shake used to throw some to our backup centers. Yeah, like remember Shake used to throw them to Drummond and but I know when Maxey went to throw that oop to Paul Reed the other day, oh my God, that thing was doo-doo.
All right, before we got out of here, I did want to ask you something. What's your thoughts on Tiger Woods and his kicking out his old girlfriend?
Why? What's the story about it?
All right, so the story is Tiger Woods was ready to break up with his girlfriend. This pop culture, we're only gonna spend like 5 minutes on this, but real quickly.
All right.
So he's ready to be done with his old girlfriend. So he had his staff tell her that she's going on vacation. So she packed her bags and took her to the airport. Once they got to the airport, they was like, "You don't live here no more," and pretty much told her to exit the property. She can't go back home. So he couldn't get rid of her. The only way he can get rid of her is the fake vacation. Was that fair?
So what? She was never leaving the house?
I guess so. She wasn't never planning on leaving the house.
I mean, that's one way to do it. If we look at different ways to do it, did he actually give her on a vacation though, or they just dropped her off at the airport?
See, that's the only thing. I hope.
At least give her the vacation. You can at least give her the vacation. At least give her the vacation. You know what I'm saying? If you at least give her like, listen, this is our parting gift. Yeah. Take this vacation, but don't come back here. You know what I'm saying? Or you could take the vacation or you could take this money and get your own self a place, get yourself a place. But I mean, honestly, if for real, if you looking at it, what was the other option for them to call the cops and have them remove her from the house?
Yeah.
Which one has more dignity? You know what I'm saying? To see the cops come and grab you and your stuff and tell you to leave out, or somebody telling you going on vacation, you get to pack your bags and leave out. I think that's a more dignified way.
She's suing him for $30 million now because he made her sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. Basically, she can't say nothing about their relationship or anything. Mm-hmm. So now she's suing to break the I guess to break it so she could get paid. So
no, at what point do we make contracts mean something? If she signed a deal, if she signed that, it's no way that should be able to be disputed or taken out.
Yeah, that was funny. I don't feel sorry for Tiger.
Like 30 million. What did she do to earn 30 million?
She did.
Slob and no, my bad. You about to get uncensored for real. Like at that point, what did you really do that you think you earned 30 million? You ain't raised his kids.
I know.
Only thing you did was swallow him. But you ain't.
Tiger. All right. See, here's what I will say. Tiger likes giving away money. He gave $500 million to it or $300 million to a nanny, his first wife. So I don't feel sorry for him.
Yeah, but listen, his first wife at least was taking care of his kids. She was there. She had a career of her own. You know what I'm saying? Like she was an established person. I'm not mad at that.
He hired her as a nanny and he fell in love with her, then married her, and then all of a sudden.
Oh, his first wife. Who was his first wife? Wasn't she a model or something?
No, she was a nanny for another golfer.
Listen,
and she walks away with $300 million.
She married him. He married her.
He's a sucker. That's what I say. I don't really have no.
Listen, to me, it's a whole big difference than having somebody as a wife and you playing house. Like, what did you do? What did you do? Even if you had kids with somebody, it's still there's a bond. You and those kids. You still want the woman that's taking care of your kids to be in a good place and everything else. I get that part of it. He's not going to go broke giving her that money. I'm saying he's fine with that. Now, this chick, what have you done? You've done nothing but live off the fact that you were dating Tiger Woods. Yeah, you did nothing. You getting presents, gifts, you doing this, that, and the other. Your job is basically just to please them.
Yeah, you're right.
So I'm saying 30 million. So now what you a prostitute now? You want to get paid for that?
She got used to living a certain life and she wouldn't leave. She used to be a manager at one of his restaurants and I guess he liked her. But whatever. I just wanted to get your thoughts on Tiger being Tiger.
And Pumans, I'm fine with BG coming back. I'm fine with Brandon Graham coming back for less money. For less money, I do. I'm fine with that.
1 year deal, $6 million.
I would like to see him retire as an Eagle, so I'm fine with paying him
and play. I don't want to see him in a dog. I think he was in a Denver uniform. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that happen.
Yeah,
he deserves to retire. But I'm not bringing back him and Cox. One of them got to go.
I mean, I'm not going to pay Cox that big money either. I mean, he took a pay cut last year. I don't know where he at now, but if that's the case, I'd be willing to let Fletcher walk because we have a plethora of defensive tackles, younger guys, and a couple younger guys. So, I use some of that money and bring Darius Slay back.
Yeah, they gotta bring Slay. I ain't like the news. So he could pursue a trade. I ain't like hearing that news tonight. That was kind of this afternoon. Anyway, y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. We'll be back Sunday. Early game. I think it starts at 6:00. Wizards, Philly. We out.
Peace.